Everything happening right now was already written. The chaos, the division, the fear spreading across nations. None of it is random. None of it is new. Ancient scripture described this exact moment, down to details that will make your jaw drop. Most people read these texts and miss it completely. They think it's just old stories. But when you line up the prophecies with today's events, something chilling emerges. And by the end of this, you'll see the pattern you were never meant to ignore. Here's what most people get wrong. They read scripture like a history book, like it only talks about things that already happened. But that's only half the story. Many passages weren't written for the people of that time. They were written for a future generation, a specific generation, one that would see signs no other generation could recognize. Think about it. How could ancient people understand descriptions of instant global communication or weapons that could destroy entire cities in seconds? They couldn't. Those words weren't for them. They were sealed, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to make sense. And scholars who study these texts say something fascinating. The signs described, they cluster together. They don't happen one at a time over centuries. They happen all at once in a single generation. But which generation? That's where things get uncomfortable. Let's start with something specific. Scripture talks about a time when knowledge would explode, when people would travel back and forth across the earth at speeds never seen before. For thousands of years, nothing changed. People walked, rode horses, sailed ships, the same speed for centuries. Then, suddenly, within just 100 years, everything shifted. Cars, planes, rockets, the internet. Information that once took months to travel now moves in milliseconds. Daniel chapter 12 describes this, knowledge increasing, people running to and fro. It was written over 2,500 years ago, but it reads like a description of the last century. And here's the key part most people skip over. These verses come with a warning. They say, when you see this happen, the end of the age is near. Not the end of the world, the end of an age. There's a difference, and that difference changes everything. Now look around. What else matches? Scripture describes a time of great deception, false teachers everywhere, people believing lies and calling truth dangerous. Sound familiar? It talks about nations in distress, confusion among world leaders, anxiety gripping entire populations, men's hearts failing them from fear. We've never lived in a time with more information available, yet people feel more lost than ever, more divided, more uncertain about what's true and what's fake. That's not an accident. The texts warned this would happen, a time when even smart people would be fooled, when evil would be called good and good would be called evil. But here's what really stands out. Scripture says during this time there would be scoffers, people who mock these very warnings, who laugh at anyone pointing out the signs. That reaction? It was predicted too. Which raises an uncomfortable question. Why would ancient texts predict their own rejection? Think about that. If you were making up a story, you wouldn't include that detail. You'd want people to believe you. You'd make it convincing. But Scripture does the opposite. It says most people won't listen. Most will ignore the signs. Most will be caught off guard, even when the warnings are right in front of them. That's not how fake stories work. That's how truth works. Truth doesn't care if you believe it. It just is. And right now, there's a battle happening. A battle for attention, for belief, for your very understanding of reality. Some say these prophecies are just coincidence, vague words twisted to fit modern events. That's one explanation. But what if they're not vague at all? What if we've just been reading them wrong? The next sign proves it. Israel. No matter your beliefs, this one is hard to explain away. Scripture said a nation would be scattered across the earth, destroyed, its people spread to every corner of the globe, hated wherever they went. That happened. History confirms it. But then Scripture said something impossible. This same nation would come back after thousands of years, The dry bones would live again. The fig tree would bloom. In 1948, Israel became a nation again, after nearly 2,000 years of not existing. Name another country that disappeared for 2 millennia and came back. You can't. It's never happened in human history, except this once, exactly as written. And Scripture ties this event to everything else. It says when you see this happen, pay attention. The generation that sees Israel reborn will see something else, something that changes everything we think we know. Let's connect more dots. Scripture describes earthquakes increasing, not just happening, but growing in frequency and strength, like birth pains getting closer together. Check the data. Seismic activity over the last century has spiked in ways scientists struggle to explain. It describes famines, pestilences, diseases spreading across borders. We've watched plagues shut down the entire planet. We've seen food shortages hit nations that never experienced them before. We've seen weather patterns shift in strange ways. Now add social conditions. Scripture describes people becoming lovers of themselves, proud, disobedient, without natural affection, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Read that list slowly, then look at social media, look at culture, look at what gets celebrated and what gets canceled. The match is uncomfortable, almost too precise, and we haven't even talked about the biggest prediction yet. One world system. Scripture describes a time when the entire planet connects under one structure, one economy, one way to buy and sell, a mark required for every transaction. For centuries, this seemed impossible. How could the whole world be linked? How could every purchase be tracked? Now we carry devices that record our every move. Digital currencies are replacing cash. Biometric data unlocks our phones. Our faces open our bank accounts. The technology didn't exist 20 years ago. Now it's normal. And here's the part that should make you pause. Scripture warns against this system. It doesn't just describe it, it calls it dangerous, a trap that looks helpful but leads somewhere dark. We're not there yet, but we can see it from here. So what do we do with this information? That depends on what comes next. Here's what Scripture actually offers. Not fear, not doom, but preparation. Every warning comes with a way out. Every prophecy includes a choice. The texts weren't written to scare people, they were written to wake them up. Because there's something most people miss. Alongside every dark prediction, there's a promise. Alongside every warning, there's hope. Scripture says those who understand the times won't be caught off guard. They won't be swept away by confusion. They'll stand firm while others panic. That's the real message buried in these ancient words. Not helplessness, power. Not despair, direction. The signs aren't meant to frighten you. They're meant to prepare you, to snap you awake, to make you ask questions you've been avoiding. Because knowing what's coming changes how you live right now. And how you live right now determines where you end up. But here's what we haven't covered. Everything we discussed, that's just the beginning, the early signs, the birth pangs. Scripture describes what comes after. Events so strange they sound like science fiction. Moments so dramatic the whole world stops to watch. Things even prophecy experts debate about. What happens when the signs finish? What comes next? Some say we'll never see it. Others say it's already started. There's a timeline buried in these texts, specific events in specific order. Most people have never seen it laid out clearly. And once you see the sequence, you can't unsee it. That pattern changes everything. The question is, are you ready to find out?